Hello and welcome to the Legacy Crusaders YouTube channel. My name is Benji and I'm here to help you misplay less and win more. And I'm going to do that by sharing some tips regarding the Labyrinth deck with you. First will be regarding Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, which has three effects. It has a continuous effect that says it cannot be targeted while you have a set card. So if you set a card before summoning it, you'll be able to prevent her from ever being able to be targeted. Do keep in mind though, if you have one set card and you activate it, your opponent can chain a card to that now to target your Lady Labyrinth if you have no set card because you've flipped it face up. Its second effect is that you can special summon it from your hand during the turn that you activated the effect of a Labyrinth card or activated a normal trap card. It actually doesn't specify who activates it. So if your opponent activates any Labyrinth cards or normal trap cards, you can actually also activate it. And it is a quick effect. It can be used on either player's turn, and it can be used to summon your monster in defense position. And its third effect, which is its most versatile effect, I think, because it lets you access pretty much any normal trap card in the game that you're willing to play in your deck, is that if you activate a normal trap card, you can chain Lady Labyrinth to that trap card, or if your opponent activates a normal trap card and you chain Lady Labyrinth to that trap card, and it must be chained directly in response to the trap card being activated. So let's say we activate Dimensional Barrier. We can activate the effect to set another normal trap card from our deck with a different name. Now, of course, that card cannot be activated the turn it's set. So let's say we say Welcome Labyrinth, which is a trap card that lets us summon our Labyrinth monsters from our deck. We will not be able to activate it that turn, but it must be a card with a different name than the one activated originally. So in some cases, your deck might be better off playing something like Trap Trick, allowing you to gain access to another copy of a card that you just used. I don't know if you want to really fill your deck with 3D barriers so that the first one can be used, followed up by a Trap Trick to set a second one, but that is an option if you want to be able to use the same trap multiple times. You might also want to play something like Eradicator Epidemic Virus because it's decent versus decks that are very trap reliant or spell reliant, including the Mirror Match, which is reliant on traps, the Materia matchup, which is focused on using spells. Keep in mind that there are 3 Welcome Labyrinth trap cards. There's Fair Welcome, Big Welcome, and Regular Welcome Labyrinth, and they all gain an additional effect from the field spell of Labyrinth. That is that when the card would resolve, you can destroy a card on the field. This is a continuous effect, so if for some reason the field spell were to leave the field before the trap card resolved, you'll be unable to destroy a card. But what's also interesting is if your opponent prevents the special summon off of your Welcome Labyrinth, but you still activated it and it did successfully resolve, meaning perhaps your opponent activated, there can be only one, and you already control the fiend. So when you activated Welcome Labyrinth, you were unable to special summon because the card resolved and the field spells on the field, you'll still be able to destroy a card on the field. But keep in mind that the effect to special summon off of Labyrinth when you activate a normal trap card is the effect of a Labyrinth card, which would also meet the qualifications of summoning Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, as well as the graveyard effect of Big Welcome Labyrinth. One of the most commonly asked questions regarding Big Welcome Labyrinth is if you summon Ariana, the Labyrinth Servant, from your deck and add it back to your hand, will you be able to activate Ariana? And the answer is no. And the reason for that is Ariana activates on summon, and by the time its effect would be able to activate, the card is not on the field. This is the Ben 10 ruling, which was updated on April 1st of 2020. If a card leaves the location where trigger effect was met before it can activate a trigger effect, it'll be unable to activate. So you can still use Ariana with Big Welcome Labyrinth. You just have to summon Ariana and then add a different card back to your hand, maybe a previously summoned Ariana or your Lady of the Silver Castle. A very common thing people like to do with their Big Welcome Labyrinth is they like to summon their Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle and add back their Ariana so that they can normal summon it next turn. This also would trigger the effect of Lovely Labyrinth because it would have been summoned, it would be on the field, and then it would see the Ariana leave the field, meaning a monster would have left the field by the effect of a normal trap card, allowing you to trigger the effect of Lady of Lovely Labyrinth to destroy a card on your opponent's field or a random card in their hand. While we're talking about Lovely Labyrinth, we'll just talk about its other effect, which is to set a trap card from your graveyard that turn, but it can only be activated while you control a fiend monster. Keep in mind that if you set a trap card with either Lovely Labyrinth or with Lady Labyrinth, you won't be able to activate the card that turn, as trap cards cannot be activated the turn they are set. Keep in mind that Lovely Labyrinth, any card set by Lovely Labyrinth requires you to control a fiend. So if your opponent were to flip your fiend face down, you will not be able to activate those cards. Our next tip is on a card that's not actually a Labyrinth card. It's called Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, which is played by some people who like the furniture, like CHANDRAGLIER or Stovey Torby. Both of them say if they're in the graveyard when a monster would leave the field by the effect of a normal trap card, you can either add them back to your hand or special summon them. So if you were to use Ghastly Glitch to destroy a card and send them to the graveyard, you'll actually not be able to activate their effects to special summon or add them back to the hand because the card gets destroyed and then they get sent to the graveyard. So they're not in the graveyard to see the card be destroyed. And the last tip is regarding Terrors of the Overroot. It has a "and if you do" effect, meaning that if you don't do part A, part B doesn't resolve. So you can target a card on your opponent's field and then a card in their graveyard and you can try to send their card to the graveyard, and if for some reason it doesn't go there, they actually will not be able to set the other card. So if you're under something like Dimensional Shifter and you still set Terrors of the Overroot, you can actually target your opponent's card on their field and their Dimension Shifter in their graveyard, send their card to the Banish Zone, and because you didn't send the card to the graveyard, you actually won't be able to set the Dimension Shifter, which is cool. And that's pretty much all the tips I have today for Labyrinth. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.